sec. Welcome everybody to the MLO live show. I am so excited to be here with my dear friend Tammy Schneider, all the way from Puerto Rico.
Ooh,
What is going on, Tammy? How are you, my friend?
doing great, Scotty. Thanks for having me. I love being here, so I appreciate the opportunity to just help people.
Yeah, we love having you here, and I don't know if you really need an introduction. Like I said last time, I think everybody knows you. So, but hey, introduce yourself, and I know you have an amazing PowerPoint for us, which is really cool. Thank you for putting that together.
Absolutely. So I am Tammy Schneider. I am for 15, going on 16 years, a coach for the mortgage industry. So I've seen it all, done it all, heard it all. So I'm here to help you guys get kind of refocused and finish the year strong today.
I love it. I love it. And you have, yeah, and I didn't even know this until you told me. Like you said, hey, we're midway through, and I'm like, what, what?
Through the year.
Yeah,
Halfway
it's
through the
crazy.
year. So let me see here. Let me just, it's like we're there. Okay. Now.
We can see it.
Okay, perfect. I was just doing the slideshow.
Perfect. Play from start. There you go. Play from start over to the left.
Yeah, stuff is in the way, so I'm trying to move.
Oh, yeah. Good old Zoom.
There we
Good old
go.
Zoom. There we go. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for being here again. So, hey, everybody, let's do this.
So, guys, if you realized it or not, we are halfway through the year. So, congratulations, everybody, for making it this far. But my big question to you is, are you on track? I think everyone, if you didn't, you should have. Everyone should have said on January 1st, hey, this is what I would like to accomplish this year. So maybe it was a volume number, maybe it was a unit number, maybe it was just getting a team or getting your CRM in place or becoming a branch manager or an owner of your own company or a broker or whatever it was. But we all had dreams and goals when we started off the year. So my question is to you, are we on track? Are you on track to meet those goals? So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Excellent. So, who's on track? Is there anybody here say yes or no in the box? Are you on track? Anybody? Kind of. Maybe. Okay. Yes. Almost. Kind of.
Okay.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
So I have found through most of the people I talk to, now people who come here, I find that people who invest in themselves and who do trainings and they take time to learn and get better and better, their answers are usually more positive. Yes, I'm there because they have something, this family to rely on. But for by and large, for most loan officers that I see and talk to, they're not on track to meet their goals. And who knows what the reasons are. I mean, maybe, yeah, you're just tired. Maybe you are overwhelmed with the market. Maybe your real estate partners are not doing as well as they used to do. Maybe you have had a death in the family. Maybe you're just overwhelmed. There's a lot of different reasons why you might not have met your goal. But here, I wanted to make sure, first of all, did you pick goals and did you write them down? Because I find that if you don't write them and then make a plan, like that this is what I'm going to do, that more than likely you probably won't reach those goals. So we got a little pop on here.
All right. I think I got it.
Okay. So there is no judgment here, guys, none whatsoever. Every one of us in this room, everybody started at the same number. Big fat zeros. Okay. So there's no judgment here. We all have to start somewhere. So the first thing is, did you make goals? Next, what prevented you from reaching that goals? And here's where some real honesty comes into place. There's no judgment again, like I said, but if it is, you know what? I'm just tired. I just didn't feel like doing it. That's okay. The question is, how do we get the feelings back? How do we get the motivation back? How do we get that light in our eye again? Maybe just circumstances. You've had a death in the family or divorce or, a sick child or a sick parent or something like that. Again, no judgment, but are there things that you can do to put in place so that you can get yourself back on track? So my question is it still possible to reach your goals even if you're not on track right now? And my answer is a resounding yes. So we're going to go through about 10 steps today on how we can reach those goals. And if you guys will forgive me, I have a smidge of laryngitis today, but I'm going to work through that. So we have an advantage and a disadvantage for being in the mortgage industry, right? Our disadvantage is that we're self-employed and our time is our own. And a lot of times we choose to go play golf instead of doing our job, or we choose to take Fridays off when we're not ready for that yet, or we choose to play on Facebook and call it work. So our time is our own. So that can be a disadvantage for us. Another thing is that usually we won't have a boss telling us what to do. You know, in a regular corporate world, someone tells you, go do this, 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 and this, and let me know when you're done. And if you don't do it, you're fired. So we don't have that where we are. We're our own boss and we're pretty lax with ourselves, aren't we? And then the final thing is this is a disadvantage. We have to do the right activities in order to get paid. There's a lot of people out there who work at normal jobs and they suck at it, but they still get paid. They get paid whether they do their job or not.
That's insane when you think about that for a second.
So for us, we have to do the right activities. Can you imagine a musician wanting to be a superstar and be in a mega band and never practicing at all? No, that doesn't happen. They do what it takes to be able to be in that mega superstar band. So those are our disadvantages. But guess what, guys? Here's our advantages. The same thing. We are self-employed. So our time is our own. So we can map out what we think needs to be done and get it done. And it usually doesn't take us 8 hours to do the right activities. Another advantage is that we don't have a boss telling us what to do. How many people have worked a job where a boss told them what to do and you knew in your heart of hearts it wasn't right? So that's an advantage for us, is that if we know a better way to do something, we have the ability to change it and do it the way we know it needs to be done. And we get to. So the first one says we have to do the right activities. I want you to change your mind. We get to do the right activities that will bring in more money than the average American makes, in a lot of cases more than a doctor would make. So what I love about our business is that everyone's different, everyone. So I may love being on the phone. Rick may not love. I know he does. Not like being on the phone. That's okay. There's ways around that in our business. You just got to find out, where do I shine? Where do I shine? And then how do I turn that into money-making stuff? So let's jump in. So number one is, don't abandon your goals. We're halfway through. If you look at your goals and say, there's no way I could ever meet them, a lot of people do this with diets, Scotty. Hey, I blew my diet on Monday, so I'm just going to take the rest of the week off and I'm going to start again next Monday. No. So don't abandon your goals. Just recalibrate a little bit. So revisit your original goals. If you haven't done it, I'm going to send Scotty a copy of this as well, and he can give it out to you guys. I have a sheet that I call my work optional day, and it's a way to figure out pretty accurately how many loans you need to close in order to say, work just became optional for me today. I choose to work because I love it, not because I have to. And so you need to have goals. And a lot of times I found, Scotty, that some of my clients were saying, I need to close 20 loans a month. And we did this sheet and they only needed to close 12 or 15 loans a month.
Big time. Yeah. Overdoing it. Yep.
People overshoot what they need to be able to have the life that they want and desire.
Yep.
So adjust where you need to. Everything doesn't have to be thrown out. So if you said, hey, I want to do these things this year. I want to become a broker. I want to set up a CRM. I want to close 20 loans a month and I want to hire 2 people. Maybe you put becoming a broker on the back burner. So you don't have to throw everything out because you're not going to reach all of your goals. Maybe you just put 1 or 2 of them. Is a CRM absolutely necessary? I may not like the one that I have, but I can limp through it. I really need to raise my production. So adjust, guys. Don't throw it all out because one little piece isn't working for you. And small tweaks make a huge difference. Can you spend 30 more minutes on the phone? That's it. 30 more minutes a day on the phone. That's a small tweak that would have huge implications.
Wait,
Can
can I just tweak that a little bit? Can you spend 30 minutes on the phone?
There you go. I love that, Scotty. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And then can you, without a doubt, non-negotiable, spend 30 minutes on the phone every single day, making outbound, proactive, I'm going to get some business phone calls. Can you have 2 more meetings a week? Meeting with real estate agents or other referral partners, CPAs, financial planners, attorneys, title reps, credit union reps, all of those things, builders. So can you have 2 more meaningful meetings a week? Can you teach 1 more class a month? Maybe you're already teaching one. Can you add another one? Can you tweak your call to action and make your call to action just a little bit better? I know both Scotty and I know several other people on here have studied a lot of like scripting and NLP stuff. And so there are ways that you can say things. Scotty has a great connection for this, by the way. His name is Jamie Miller. He's been on here before. Jamie is a master at selling and a master at knowing what to say and when to say it and how to say it. So if you need help on what to say, that could be a really small tweak in your life, but it can make a huge difference. What if you
I would
else?
just,
Okay,
I would just add to that to give you a little break there that the more you do it, the more conversations you have, the more objections you get, the better you get at it, because right now it's muscle memory and you're trying to think of what to say instead of just like automatically having the words come out the right way. And that's just doing it over and over and over and over again to where you have better results. You might go from 10 calls to 1 appointment to 5 calls to 1 appointment. You with me? So it's knowing your numbers, but getting better at the conversations, getting better at what you're saying, how you're saying it, and when you're saying it. And then are you listening to and then going in their direction instead of where you want to go?
exactly. So that's a small tweak. It may be just 1 word that you're saying that's turning somebody off. So if we could remove that word from your vocabulary and put something else instead, that would be a small tweak. So I love the analogy. There's a book about it takes 1 degree to change hot water into boiling water. So it's not a massive thing that happened there. It was just changing 1 degree. And that's all sometimes we need to do, guys, is just change 1 little thing. So don't abandon your goals. You might have to recalibrate a little bit, but don't abandon them. Number 2, let's break down the rest of the year. So this is going to be homework for you guys. We've got 6 months left. July, August, September, October, November, December. You've got 6 months. So take each of those months and write them down. Write what has to be done each and every month. Let's say that you're closing around 10 loans a month right now. And we keep that number for July because we're in the middle of June, so we might not be able to increase July by this much. But if we keep 10 for July, if you only got 2 more loans a month, 2, and you have 160 hours to get 2 more loans a month, 40 hours a week. 2 more loans a month, you'd be at 20 loans a month by the end of the year if you could just increase 2 loans a month. So sit down and figure out, what would I need to do to make that happen? Well, my half-hour of phone calls added onto my daily schedule would help. My meeting with 2 more people that could help me have business would help. Teaching a class and then following up afterwards, that would help. So what do you need to do specifically each month to bring in 1 or 2 more loans a month? So break it down monthly, and then what do you need to accomplish? And guys, I'm using units as my example, but this can happen with anything. If you wanted to have a new CRM, you could take the 6 months and say, hey, month 1, I'm going to build out my lead follow-up. Month 2, I'm going to build out my in process follow-up with all my milestones and everything. In month 3, I'll build out my database follow-up. In month 4, I'll do my realtor follow-up. So you can take that and break it down into pieces as well. So just break it down, what needs to happen each month. And then set some very small goals with each of those. So if we're going to build out my lead stuff, let's start with, hey, week 1, I'm going to build out what my phone calls will look like. Week 2, I'll build out what my text messages look like. Week 3, I'm going to build out my social media platform for following up with leads. And week 4, I'm going to build out my email campaign or my video marketing campaign or whatever that might be. So you can take those goals and then break them down even smaller with very clear, I know I've reached my goal when I that. And so set your benchmarks, set your goals, and then make them happen. And then stay focused on what you know works. Everyone in this room knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that picking up the phone and making phone calls works. Now, there's a lot of people who say, oh, that's old stuff. That's this, that's that. I don't disagree that it's an older technique, but guess what, guys? It still works. Now, does that mean you can't try newer things as well? No. You can certainly try those other things, but don't abandon what works. What works is phone calls, picking up phone calls and calling. And most of the time, for most of you on here, you're not going to have to make cold calls. You know enough people that you could get the business if you picked up the phone and you made your phone calls. So don't get distracted by shiny objects. If you want a shiny object to work on, pick one and then do the same thing. Break it down into monthly goals. Hey, I'm going to work on this part of it. Then I'm going to work on this part of it. Then I'm going to work on this part of it. Don't abandon everything you're doing to spend a whole solid month building this out when you don't know if it's going to work for you or not. Do what you know works first and then add the other things later. The next one is focus, and it's very similar. Focus on non-negotiables. So I can't say this enough, but non-negotiable means you can't change it. It's non-negotiable. So what are 3 or 4 or 5 things? And for some of you, it's only 1 or 2 things. I've seen that happen many times where it's just like 2 things that would make a huge difference in your business if you did it. But what are 3 to 5 actions that would actually move your sales and your business forward? Everyone thinks I need to be working on 15 different things. You don't. If you apply the 80-20 rule, there may be 15 things that bring in the money, but only 20% of those things, which would be 3, only 20% of those are going to bring in the majority or 80% of that money. So focus on those. Why focus on number 15 that only brings you in 2% of revenue when you could focus on number 1 and 2, which would bring you in 30% of revenue? And so figure out what for you is your 3 to 5 actions that you really need to concentrate on for the rest of this year. Remember, we're trying to finish the year strong. So figure out what your 80-20 is. What are the 20% of things that you do that bring you in 80% of your money? And really, really pour on the gas and work on those things. And then do your daily disciplines, calls, follow-ups, asking for the business. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people on here who their follow-up is amazing. They are not afraid of making the phone calls. They call. But what do? They forget their call to action. They don't ask for referrals. They don't ask for business. They don't ask for the coffee. They don't ask for the meeting. They don't ask. So all the other stuff, if you don't put a call to action with it, does you no good. So have these daily disciplines where you make your phone calls, you teach your classes, you have your meetings, you follow up well, but you ask for the business. And they have to be non-negotiable. So how do we do that? You live by your calendar, guys, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. A big thing for a lot of you guys is going to be resetting your mind. And instead of saying, man, I'm halfway through the years and I'm not even close, what's the use? Or I suck. A lot of people may be saying that right now. I really suck. I'm not very good at this. I haven't done what I needed to do. I'm disappointed in myself. Erase all that stuff and use the first half of the year as data collection. what did I do right? And what did I allow to get in my way? How do I remove what got in my way and do more of these actions? So it was just data. What was I doing? It's not your destiny. So now that you know what works, what doesn't, we do more of what works and we stop doing the things that distract us from doing other things. And I love this, being able to say, my best work is still ahead of me. My best work is still ahead of me. And I think having Scott, you have been just a light for this industry for a very long time, but through this platform where people get to come and visit and learn from each other, that's a big thing for me, guys, is we are family. So we should be helping one another. We should be helping. We're not competition, guys. We're not competition. We are here and where our numbers are shrinking, so it makes it better for everybody. But we should be helping one another. And that's what I love about this format, is that people come on and they share their best stuff and they're not having that scarcity mindedness. I'm not going to share this because then everyone will steal my business. They realize there's plenty for everyone. So control what you can control. Can you control the prices of gas? No. You still need gas for your car? Yeah. Can you control the price of eggs? No. Do we still, some people gave up eggs, but do we still need eggs? Yeah. Control what you can control. Can you control your schedule? Yes. Can you control your picking up the phone and making outbound phone calls? Yes. Can you control where you work? Yes, all of those things. So control what you can control. Let go. You can't control rates. Let that go. Sell what's on the shelf. So next is eliminate busy work. So there's a lot of people that I have come across in the past who are busy. They're working 60-hour weeks, but when we really dive into their calendar, they're maybe working 25, maybe 30. They're doing a lot of busy work, but it's not productive work. So this takes a lot of honesty, guys. Is what I'm doing right now productive? So being able to audit your day and know if you're being productive or busy. There's a lot of ways you can do this. I had one client who for 1 week, every 30 minutes would stop and journal what they just did, so that at the end of the week, we could look and see, what were you doing? What, am I on mute or not?
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh,
No, I hear you. Yep, you're good.
So am I busy? Am I productive? They journaled what they were doing that whole week, and we were able to wipe out a lot of other stuff. Another one, they didn't do that, but they got one of those stopwatches that had a red button and a green button on it, you know, the racing stopwatch.
Yeah.
Every time they did some sales activity, they hit the green button. And when they stopped doing sales activity, they hit the red button. They were shocked because when I asked them, how many hours a day do you spend selling? They're like, oh, at least an hour, maybe a little bit more. I'm like, okay. And then when we did that, it was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15. Because answering a phone call that has a lead on it, that's not sales. Okay, so that's fulfillment. Sales is going out and getting the business. It's all the activity you do to get the business. So cut out all the fluffy stuff. So if you keep your journal or your stopwatch or something like that, you'll be able to see what the fluff is, and then you can cut it out.
You know what's amazing is you talk about the stopwatch, and there's a book, and I don't remember the book, but I listened to it, and he would go into companies and like sit in the room of the sales staff, and he would do the button, like, for real, like, when are you doing outbound sales? And it was, I don't think it was an hour and a half a week. That,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's like, okay, and then he'd do it a week, and whatever, and it was mind blowing that the time that somebody actually spent selling was next to nothing, and they were trying to figure out why they weren't having more sales, because they weren't selling. So it's that little tweak that if you track and you literally pay attention to it. Like, Tammy, you taught me the calendar. Like, if it's not in your calendar, it's not going to get done. And stick to your calendar. Don't veer from it. So powerful.
Which is our last thing. Time block all your important stuff. So there are things that you might need to do, like pick up dog food or go to the cleaners, that does not go on your calendar. That goes on a to-do list. The important things go on your calendar because now we can train you to live, eat, breathe, and die by your calendar. If you say at 2 o'clock, I'm going to go pick up dog food, and then you don't, you're teaching yourself that your calendar is not important. That's why I like to put things like that over on a to-do list and not on my calendar. You could put up a spot on your calendar, run errands, and then all your errands are you do them all then. But if you will put the important things on your calendar and time block the right activities, you'll be amazed at how much you get done. Here's a big one for me, goes back to those phone calls, work, is re-engage with your past clients, your past leads, and your current partners and people you may have worked with in the past, and then they've stopped sending business to you. I just talked with one of my clients yesterday, and she's like, there was someone I was using and I hadn't seen a loan from him in a while. So I called her, I'm like, hey, just hadn't heard from you in a while. Is there something that we need to talk about? And so they got to talk about things, a little misunderstanding, and she already received the lead. So pick up the phone, guys, pick up the phone and re-engage. You'll get really quick wins from that. So it doesn't take a lot of time. And then make sure that your pipeline is filled with purposeful things. All your lead generation efforts. So sit down and say that 80-20, what brings me the most? And now I need to really concentrate on those efforts. Be very proactive. Proactive things win. In football, proactive teams win. It's not the reactive. It's not the defense that wins. It's the offense. Well, most of the time. It's the offense that wins. And so proactive wins. So the more activity you do with the right call to action, the better your results are going to be. It's just like going to the gym. You can walk in the gym door. That does not give you muscles. Picking up the weights and doing many reps, that gives you muscles. And so don't wait for the business to come to you. Go and get it. Here's one of my favorite things. Find an accountability partner. Doesn't matter who it is, as long as they will challenge you. They can't let you slide. What I would do is, if this is super, super important, I'm going to share something that I did a long time ago. So I wanted to take a break from, for those of you who know me, I love my wine, but I was taking a break from wine for 90 days. And I knew it was not going to be easy. And it was over the holidays. Thanks, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. It was those 3 months. I'm like, why did you pick this time? But I did. So I found someone to hold me accountable. I put money where my mouth is. I wrote a check out for $5,000 to my ex-husband. And for those of you who know, I would not give him that, much less $5,000. And I gave it to that person. And I said, if I don't follow through on this commitment, I want you to send this money to him. When I was tempted, you better bet your booty I did not have a glass of wine, because he was not going to get a red penny from me. So choose someone who will hold you accountable. Choose someone who will challenge you and say, really? One? You can't do two? And you will see a massive change in your business. Again, that's another thing I love about these meetings, Scotty, is that people can meet each other on here and they can find an accountability partner and someone who will really help them with this. So there's nothing like accountability. We are not meant to be an island. No man is an island, as the book says. So we're meant to do life together. And it's so much better when we can find people who challenge us and who are of the same mindset that we are, and who will allow us to hold them accountable. So here's what I would do. If you're going to find somebody, set a time where you guys call each other, and it's not for chit chat. You're not to say, how are you today? How was the weekend? How was whatever? You answer the phone. Hello, I'm ready. Are you? Yes, I am. I'll see you in 30. If we're using our 30 minutes, or I'll see you in an hour or an hour and a half or whatever, hang up. So you're not chatting at all. You're just, I'm ready for my calls. Are you ready for your calls? Yes, done. At the end of the hour and a half, you call each other back. How many calls did you make? How many people answered? And how many people responded to your call to action? So that could be getting coffees, it could be getting leads in the door, referrals, or whatever that is. But that's how you would hold each other accountable if you got a partner that you called each other with. Here's a big one for me as well. If you don't know why you're doing this and what you stand to gain for it, you won't do the hard things when it comes time for it. And so that's a job, 40-hour with a boss and a corporate paycheck, etc., versus my own time. I don't have to have a strong why to go to work other than I want to eat. But if we're self-employed, we need a strong why to make us do those things that a boss isn't standing over us telling us to do. So you need to have a real good goal. And I call it the source of denial. So you say, hey, I want to make more money. Why? So I can buy a new house. Why? So that my kids grow up having a stable home environment and a neighborhood where they have kids to play with. Why? Because I didn't have that when I was a child, and I want my kids to not have to worry and not have to whatever. Why? Because I find that I want them to spend their time on their education and get whatever. But you keep going back and back and back until you get to the source of denial. And most of the time, there are those 7 things that are important to people: relationships, security, comfort, peace, things like that. So that's what you're looking to find out. What is my true motivation for making this happen? What drives you? Is it your family? Is it time freedom or relationship freedom or money freedom or whatever? Is it your own pride? And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Hey, I want to be the best there is. So write down your really strong why and put it somewhere where you can see it often. I know we're a little bit over. We're almost done. I want you to decide today is the day. Today, not this coming Monday, not, oh, July 1st seems like a good day to start this. No, today. Today is the day. Forget what happened earlier in this year. You're going to start today. Show up with energy and intention and know that you get to write the story. You get to write the ending. You get to do this and know what the end of the year is going to look like for you. So final thoughts, it's not too late, guys. It is not too late. Just start today. And the small things that we do are so much better than doing these big, big things that we delay because they're so big. So small things, slow and steady, the tortoise and the hare, the slow and steady wins the race. And finish this year strong. You've got this. So I appreciate your time, guys. Thank you so much. And Scotty, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Of course, I appreciate you being here. And there's just one question, I think, and Tam, if you want to answer it, I will. There's like, hey, I have a couple small children at home. Like, how, like, what should I do? How would I balance my time?
Well, I think part of it is, do you have any help during that time when they're home? So you have to know, can you surround yourself? Is there anyone who, especially for the sales time, for the proactive sales time, can you get someone to cover you for that 1 hour? Say, hey, I can't be distracted during this 1 hour while that's the highest and best use of your time is sales activities. So carve out what's best for your sales activity, get someone to cover you during that time. And then the rest of the day could go to hell in a handbasket, but your sales calls were done. And so if I had small kids, that's what I would do is I would find coverage for that 1 hour to 2 hours that I need to do my sales activities. And then I would be okay with the rest of the time.
Awesome.
Living by a calendar is a game changer. Game changer.
Yeah. And I would just say, be upfront and like say, hey, I have 2 small children at home with whoever you're working with. They'll respect that. Set the right expectations, and the right people come in, the wrong people go away. So awesome stuff. Tammy, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank you, guys. It's good to see everyone.
All right. You guys have a great day. Have a great weekend. It's Thursday. Oh my God. So I hope today's the last day. You can have a 3-day weekend. If not, let me know. We'll work on that. So without further ado, don't miss Monday morning. Jason Frazier has an announcement to make. He already made it, but he's going to be on the show Monday morning. So excited to see Jason Frazier back on the show. Without further ado, have an amazing rest of the day and weekend. Take care, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.